Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. All Things Middle Earth here with a video on how you can start out a brand new season with millions of gold. So stay tuned, I'm going to break down why you'd want to do that, what commanders you can use, and how you can pull this off. Okay, I'm going to make this short and sweet because I already talked about this in a video a couple videos ago. I mentioned this as one option, as something you should be doing to prepare for a new season, but I got a lot of questions about it and I wanted to clarify exactly how this works. So if you look at the chests down here, they do have the timer up here in the top right. This means they are limited to the season that they are in. So if you get a bunch of these chests and have them in your inventory, they will go away. Again, like a lot of things in your inventory, if I go over here, you can see a lot of these things are not going to be here. All these things are not going to be here when the new season starts. So if you have those chests, they would have that too. The way you pull this off is as you beat dragons and balrogs, you're going to get these things in the mail and you're going to leave them in the mail because as you can see on mine, I've got 12 days, 12 days, 13 days, 13 days. So I think they have a total of 2 weeks on them. So depending on when your server is switching over, there's a chance you could get up to 2 weeks, theoretically, of these. Again, it depends if they usually do it on the same day. I think it ends up being just 1 week, the weekend before. But still, you can get as many of these in your inventory as you want to. But if you do claim them or if you hit view all, really quick, moving this button right here, if you click view all right here, that will send all these to your inventory and totally ruin this. So if you start getting a lot of chests, be very careful because that would be a huge bummer. So that's a very quick summary of how you do this, how you actually pull this off. Again, it is kind of cheesy, so there is a chance they change this. So just bear in mind that this is something that if they want to change, they could, but it is a feature in the game right now. It stays in the mailbox. It's been around for a while. That's how it worked from season 1 to season 2. So we'll see. But the reason why you'd want to do this is because all of your troops, when you move to a new season, are going to lose their upgrades that you gave them. So as you unlock the troops again, they're going to be level 1 out of 10. So their abilities are going to be a little bit worse than they are towards the end of a season for you. So it's going to allow you, as a new season starts, to just max out whatever troops you want to. Even starting out, if you have tier 1 troops you start out with, usually people don't even max out tier 1 troops because they're going to move past them so quickly. But if gold's a complete non-issue for you, you can max this out. And heck, the range advantage on this bowman's not a bad ability. It's just one that you're not going to use for that long. But if gold's not an issue, then it doesn't matter. So you can max out your troops as you go along. You can be a lot more efficient in the early game. You can have less troop losses, which allows you to do a lot more. So, and then once you get to your tier 3s, you should have quite a bit of gold still to be able to max out some troops for yourself there. So that's one major reason why you'd want to do that. Another reason you might want to do this is because when you build forts, it costs gold. So it costs 12,000 gold to build forts, and it costs every time you upgrade them. So if you have a ridiculous amount of gold, you can just keep expanding and get a really good range on the map really, really early on in the season. And lastly, the reason you want to have a lot of gold is as soon as you can take these neutral unit camps down. So if I was playing as Arnor, for example, and I had a Bree Rider outpost right next to my settlement, if and when I capture that, you can even have people help you capture it. I now would be paying gold and a lot less resources that I would be for other troops. Again, it's 1,300 wood, 3,900 ore, and 6,050 wheat plus the 1,500 gold. So that with the gold compared to a different tier 3 mounted unit like the Cataphract, again, you're paying half the wood, you're paying less of the ore. I think it is a little bit less grain as well. It was like 5,000 something, I believe. And obviously there's no gold cost here. So the resource costs are reduced on hireable units because you're paying the gold for them. So you're going to be able to get a lot more tier 3 units faster. And honestly, I think you could capture a Bree Rider outpost or any outpost for that matter before you're going to unlock the ability to actually craft or conscript these troops by way of building their different areas in your settlement. So that's the main reason why you'd want to have a lot of gold starting out and how it could really help you start out with a really good season. And lastly, I wanted to show you some commander options that I'm using on my good account, and I'll show you an example on the evil account too. Again, I've made videos about both of these separately, so those are going to be linked up in the top right. But Dwalin's kind of the king of Heart of a Hero in my opinion. There aren't any gear requirements for him, but with his Warrior of the Lonely Mountain perk and then Musician maxed out, he does fantastic. And you're going to bring all bow knights or you're going to bring all of the master axe throwers. So again, depending on the level of your Dwalin and the respect you have him out, and if you've imparted wisdom, this is going to change a little bit. But for the most part, you want to max out Musician and the healing trees and Warrior of the Lonely Mountain. Giant Slayer is going to help Dwalin do some extra damage, as well as Longbeard. If you had a ridiculous amount of points, you could start going into Experienced Warrior or Durance Blood. It doesn't really matter, but Dwalin is going to absolutely crush it at Heart of a Hero. I'll show you a report here from him battling one. So as you can see here, this is Dwalin against a dragon who deal more damage than the Balrog. So this would be like the kind of worst one to go up against. And for Dwalin in this situation, he lost 121 and had 80 wounded, like almost nothing. And you can see that the dragon received over 264,000 damage. So he is absolutely fantastic at Heart of a Hero. Another great option for good is going to be Gandalf the Grey, and this is the skill build you're going to run on him, which is very similar to what I was doing a lot of my test. I think it actually is the exact same build I was doing my testing for anti-Witch King stuff. So he was already ready to go for me, and I can show you a report with him. Same thing troop-wise, you want to use Bow Knights or you want to use the Master Axe Throwers. But this was Gandalf with some Bow Knights here, and as you can see, he did just under 200,000 in this example, but only 41 lost, 27 wounded. So Gandalf the Grey is also fantastic. That's a tier 1 and tier 2 commander with good. Even if you're not playing at the end of the season, maybe you're brand new to the game and Heart of Heroes coming around for the first time. If you need gold, this is a fantastic way to kind of break it. Like, you'll literally have millions of gold very, very shortly, assuming your faction is just a little bit active to keep churning through these things, because sometimes they spawn where they're out of reach for you. So what happens for me a lot of the time, at least in my current situation, is they spawn way over here and I can't get here. It's a 39-minute march, and then I don't have a fort here, so I'm gonna have to build a fort. So I've got 2 hours and 40 minutes until I can get here, and this will probably be gone before I get there. But if they're getting knocked out fast enough, eventually some are gonna land in your range and you can get them. So it does depend on the player activity. So coordinate with your factions and fellowships and knock this out. Either if you're in the season and you just need gold, or if you're at the very end, get a group on to work on going through these. And you're going to end up starting the new season, hopefully, with a ton of gold, unless they come through and change this, which I don't think they will, but bear in mind they could. And lastly, I did want to show you an evil commander that you can use, because good, while I think they dominate Heart of a Hero, evil does have some solid options as well. Gorbag is the kind of champion of Heart of a Hero, in my opinion, for the evil side. He is a tier 1 commander. He's very easily accessible. You do need him at R5, same with Dwalin. But this is the build you're going to run here with Old Orc and Dress Wounds. Then you're going to go into Watchman of Kirith Ungol with Enrage, and then you're going to put the rest of the points into Interrogator and into Restrain. You could put 1 point into Corrupting Curse if you wanted to before you go into Interrogator. But again, the big thing is Old Orc down here and Watchman of Kirith Ungol with Enrage. And you're going to take a full army of Reapers with him. So as you can see here, I've got my guy going. He drew the 4 times, and the losses are a little bit more, but it's still very, very good. But as you can see here, we have the total damage received for the dragon at 250,000, with 676 losses and 449 deaths. So still quite a bit higher than what Dwalin or Gandalf would have. But again, it's kind of one of the best options that good have. They just don't have as much healing as good. Now, there are other options for evil as well. Someone else that I see run a lot is Gothmog, because he does have some healing as well. So you'd run trees like the second in command tree for defense and avoidance, and then the crippled with resupply. So that's what you would run for him. And I know as you move up and there's different tier 3s, and as we get new commanders, there might be new options. But if I suggest a tier 3 commander, it's probably going to be viable to a smaller group of people. But again, I wanted to show you the evil and the good options for taking this out. You want to keep them in your inventory. So this is my evil account, so I don't have them here, but I'd have them sitting in my inventory waiting until the new season starts. So this, on my evil account, we haven't gotten our timer here, but when this happens in the evil account, I'm going to go through and take out as many of these things as possible, so I can start with basically maxed out gold. But that's going to do it for me in this one. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in a future video.